We're on air. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sunday here on the Den. It is WrestleMania weekend. So we decided we're going to throw a little chat here together, talking about some WrestleMania moments of past, present, and hopefully future. So,
And we do apologize. We knew some of the advertisements said that Larry Faulkner was supposed to be here. I'm stepping in his place. I might not know much about wrestling, but I'm going to wing it. And we have Ben Brown is joining with us down here in the corner. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Excellent. All right, so first thing in discussion, let's talk about the NXT battle.
yeah.
Yes,
So
holy.
let's do the spoiler first. If you haven't seen NXT Takeover Dallas yet, you might want to mute it for a sec because there are going to be some spoilers here. So, what did you guys think of the takeover?
That was amazing. That was some pretty intense battles.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, there was really like no bad match in that whole thing.
No,
And the introduction of that new wrestler.
Nakamura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see where he's gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of, I think, a changing of the guard, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, he's been so big in Japan for a while, and if that does end up being Sammy's last NXT match, which it probably will be, it was a really good one. So yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I watched it with the hubby; he really liked him too. So it'll be pretty cool to see where he goes.
I'm wondering, I know a lot of it is acting. Was Sami Zayn really that exhausted after that battle? He looked like he was beat to shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
How could you not?
It's exhausting. It's still exhausting. I mean, you got to do so much stuff. Plus, I mean, on top of everything else, all the training he's probably been doing for WrestleMania and everything like that. It's a lot of shit to deal with.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I mean, he's got to do that all over again tonight, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. So Sami Zayn versus Senpei. How do you think that's going to go?
I don't know. That's one match that I think is super up in the air. Obviously, I would love to see Kevin keep the belt. But if Sammy or Dolph Ziggler win, I'd be pretty happy with that because I really like them both. I'm just hoping it's not going to be Zack Ryder.
I do actually. I kind of like Zack Ryder, but
I like Zack Ryder, but he doesn't deserve it.
nah, not yet.
I'd be really happy if he won it, and then on Raw tomorrow night he loses it again.
We're going back to the NXT Takeover matches. How do you think of the development of Asuka?
Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
She is one I think is really going to go far.
There's very few, there's a lot of female heels, but there's none that really have her gimmick. She's just nuts. And I was super happy to see her win the belt. I love Bayley. I think she's fantastic too, but I think Bayley needs to do bigger, better things in NXT. And Asuka, she's just getting her start, and her winning this belt now is going to be really big for her. So,
yeah, I think we're just seeing the beginning of Asuka. I don't think she'll be in NXT very long. She's going to be. I predict she'll be in the main roster within 6 months.
I was telling the hubby, she's a heel that gets cheered a lot, so she's gonna be a big thing, and she's got such a unique gimmick and all sorts of shit. So and she's just fucking crazy, and people love crazy people.
That was I don't know. There were so many good matches. It's hard to say which one is the match of the night. I mean, the Finn Balor match. I'm not a huge Finn Balor fan, but that match was pretty amazing, especially the condition that Samoa Joe was in pretty much the whole match.
Yeah, I love Balor.
Charging like a bowl of blood on his face.
I've liked Balor since I started watching NXT. But yeah, that was a great match. I mean, he and Samoa Joe are just both tremendously good wrestlers. There's so much with both of them. I think we're going to see huge things with both of them, too. I was really surprised that Joe didn't win the belt. I still think he will eventually.
Yeah, that was my prediction all along. Is that Finn was going to drop the belt and move up to the main roster starting tomorrow night, but I don't know what's going to happen now. That's kind of gone out the window.
I guess the rumors I've been hearing about Balor moving up is that he doesn't want to yet because he doesn't know how good of a niche he would have at the time. Like if he moved up, because I mean, there's still so many old wrestlers in there right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's so many people out on injury too. You never know how it would go with him moving up.
Yeah.
He would definitely. I think he would do pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, Sammy moving up too. I mean, I think Sammy's going to do great. So who knows?
The other match that really surprised me, and I didn't expect much out of it, was the tag match. I didn't expect that match was going to be as good as it was.
It was good. I don't know. I'm not super bought on American Alpha.
Me neither.
But they're talented guys. I don't know. I like what's her faces, and I forget his name. You know who? I don't know why I'm blanking so hard. I just watched it 2 seconds.
Dash and Dawson or
Dash and Dawson. They're great. I would like to see them both go solo though for a little bit.
P.S. I don't like the name change for Dash and Dawson. I liked Dash and Dawson better than their current name.
I just like
the Revival. I don't know. It doesn't.
I kept wanting to call him the Revenant for some reason. I know that was right.
I'm okay with the name American Alpha, but I don't like that they gave them that name. I don't know. It just doesn't.
It feels very, I don't know, because they don't really have a gimmick, and I think just changing it to that is kind of like, I feel like to put a name on a group on a tag team like that, like they have to have like a big gimmick, and Dash and Dawson one. I mean, they're both great guys. They should be called really hot people instead of the Revival.
I agree.
Yeah, don't just give them a name. I just want to like watching them.
That ass though.
A butt that just won't quit.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And the only match I really didn't like of the night was Baron Corbin's match. I
forgot about it.
I'm not a huge fan of his to begin with, and there was just something missing there. I don't know.
I don't care for Corbin either. I don't think too many people really do. He's dull. I think that's the big. He's very dull. He's got a cool look, but he's just dull. You know,
he doesn't have the mic skills yet, and I think he has potential in the future, but they got to get those mic skills working for him because right now they're not. No. They're not at the same level as the top dogs in the NXT right now.
Definitely, it's funny because he's been around for a while. I mean, but he's just not. Yeah. He's like plateaued. You know, there's just there doesn't feel like there's a lot of movement up. I mean, there probably still will be, but he hasn't impressed me in a super long time. So
no, and that match because it was. I mean, I know that the whole thing was the height difference, but I don't know. It just lacks something to me. But that being said, it wasn't a bad match, and I guarantee you their match is probably going to be better than half of the matches we're going to see tonight.
I don't know. I think the matches tonight will be pretty good. But yeah, theirs was like the only match where I was just like, I don't really care, and I was like, went on the computer. Like that.
That's
that
how
would
I
be
felt
like,
too. Every other match, I had those moments where I was like, "Whoa, what is going on? Like, why is this so good? Like, these are supposed to be the undercard people, and I haven't seen matches like this in a long time."
That was like a bathroom break match for me. Yeah. But yeah, all the other ones, you couldn't look away. I mean, they were just great.
No, And Derek's not the hugest wrestling fan. He watches it, but he's not the hugest fan. And he was on the couch watching it the whole time. He never left the couch.
I'm usually just surfing Mobley.
Yeah.
This is the first takeover Josh has ever seen.
Yeah.
And he watched it the whole way through, and he loved it. So
yeah, it was amazing.
It was really
All
good.
right.
It was definitely one of the best ones I've seen so far.
All right. So how do we feel about the Hall of Fame inductees this year? Yeah. There's a few that I like. Yeah.
I like Sting. I was a little sad to see that he's retiring, but he's also beat up as shit, so I understand why.
He is.
I don't really have that much comment on anybody else. I like The Godfather, but that was really about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the ceremony. So
I watched it. I mean, I say I watched it, but I mean, I fast forward through a lot of it. I mean, there's only so much of those speeches you can watch, right? And then you're just, yeah. I mean, the one that stuck out that Vader inducted Stan Hansen, and I didn't realize Vader's not in the Hall of Fame yet.
Nope.
Which makes no sense to me.
It's funny because I didn't really get into wrestling until like middle school, high school. But when I was in elementary school as a kid during the '90s, my brother watched wrestling all the time, and I still remember Vader like super well. Like he was huge when I was a kid. It's really surprising. It's got to be soon, I imagine. I don't know. Maybe his dick picture will get Hall of Famed.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I think Vader will be in probably. I venture guess he'll be in next year. Women's inductee. I always loved Jackie, so I'm glad she's in there. She's a good choice.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think the inductees were good. I mean, I wish they'd get rid of the celebrity. I don't know why they have that as a category. I hate that.
I don't understand either.
Like friggin' Drew Carey and Donald Trump and now Snoop Dogg. Like that kind of takes away from everything.
It's silly. I don't know why they think that they need to have it. It's not like it's going to make more of a draw. You know, it's like and they're not even like big I mean, okay, Snoop Dogg's probably like one of the bigger celebrities they've actually had.
Yes, and he has made, and in fairness, out of all the inductees, he made quite a few appearances in Raw over the time. But like people like Drew Carey, who made one appearance at a WrestleMania. You know? Yeah. I mean, I kind of understand Snoop Dogg, but still, I don't think they should even have that as a category. It kind of takes away from, what it's supposed to be about.
I agree. It's kind of it's a gimmick. Definitely, it feels very gimmicky. Whatever. I mean, they obviously have a lot to work on.
Of course, any Hall of Fame that inducts Donald Trump, well,
it's questionable at best.
All right. So let's go back in time before we start talking about WrestleMania this year. So I know you just recently went back and watched some of the ones that you've missed. Derek has watched a lot.
I have.
What is your favorite WrestleMania matchup?
It's so hard to pick. I remember the very last WrestleMania I watched before these couple was like, I think it was Rock versus Stone Cold. Like that's how long ago it was. That was great. But that's like I could barely remember any other matches besides like the main events from those ones. But I remember that one. But out of like the last two I saw, 30 and 31 were really stacked. They were both really good WrestleManias. I'm trying to think. I think my favorite, I really liked Undertaker versus Lesnar. It was really good. It was really surprising. Cena versus Bray Wyatt was really good. I liked that whole back when Bray Wyatt was actually kind of scary.
Bray Wyatt's one of my favorite right now.
I like him. Josh hates him. He hates him so much.
That's what I find about Bray Wyatt. You either really like the gimmick or you hate it.
I like the gimmick.
I liked the gimmick. It's just, I don't know. It's gotten sort of stale, I think.
They need to do something different. I think you're right. I think they need to add something to it, make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah, it's goofy. But you go back like 2 years ago when that whole thing started. It was really good, and the whole him versus Cena and that whole feud and the actual fight that they had was really good. I mean, Bray Wyatt could be very creepy and get in your head kind of guy. The right people to work with. I think putting him with Cena, and sorry, my growler just went off. Putting him with Cena was a really good idea because he was able to take like, oh, Cena, you're a good guy. Well, I'm just gonna fuck all that up. And, it was good. It was better than the feud with Roman Reigns, anyway. So.
All right. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, in watching back that match, I just watched it 2 weeks ago and I rewatched it. And that match, what stood out was the way that Bray Wyatt was trying to antagonize Cena. I loved that. It was amazing. He didn't care if he win or lost the match. His whole goal was to pull that out of Cena, which is what I really liked about that match. It wasn't just I'm going to win this match. No. It was trying to pull the that out of him. It was just I found it amazing. All right. So just before I asked Derek the same question, so you got time to think of an answer. We got a comment from Zach Cook. So he commented and said, they induct folks who have supported and been part of the universe for a long time, such as Snoop. I'm all for the usual half non-wrestling inductees. So that's his opinion on it as well, which, you know, I can see that aspect of it as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't. I don't know if they should be in the Hall of Fame, though. You know what I mean? Like,
there's maybe there's another way they could do it. Yeah. Yeah,
like some sort of award. I mean, I know even the celebrity part's technically not part of it, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it should be like in the Hall of Fame per se.
I do like I will say, going back to that, I do like the addition of the Warrior Award. I think it's amazing. And I know Joan London's story, so when I heard she was being inducted, right away I was on board for that because I kind of followed her story. So I think she's an amazing person to induct. So it's not necessarily about inducting, you know, celebrities as much as I don't know if it has a place in the Hall of Fame specifically just for, you know, the celebrities that make those one or two appearances. Like I said, Snoop Dogg made quite a few appearances, but so he's a little bit different. But okay, so Derek, favorite WrestleMania match?
Oh, I really don't have an answer to that, Craig. Like, I've watched it here and there. I'm just like, I've never really fully watched WrestleMania until last week when we were watching the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched the one where The Undertaker lost his title.
Mm-hmm. You've watched more than that.
The only things that I can come to mind when I'm watching thinking of past WrestleManias is that moment where The Undertaker lost, and it's just the whole, like, the awe over the crowd. And Lorna Vachon staring at the camera doing that face she does.
Those are the two WrestleMania moments. Lorna Vachon making her face right back at WrestleMania. I love it.
Just WrestleMania 30 was just great in general. That whole, because I was thinking too. I actually really, really loved the main event of that with Orton, Batista, and Bryan, which was just because you could tell the fans really wanted Daniel Bryan to win that thing, and it was really cool.
Oh yeah, the Daniel
seeing
Bryan
him
yes.
move that move all the way like that. So that was a great match too. That might actually be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I'm trying to think, like, I remember the one where I saw the one where Benoit won a while ago. That was a good one. It's hard to think. I would have to like rewatch a lot of them because when I watched them, I was like a teenager. It's super hard to remember them all. And it's hard to watch WrestleManias because they're like 4 hours long. So if you want to watch like two of them, you got to take a whole day off.
It does take a whole day.
Yeah.
It does take a whole day. I mean, there's a couple of matches, and again, I have to say the last couple WrestleManias have been really good. The one that really stands out for me is obviously the one where when Daniel Bryan won the championship.
Yes.
That moment was pretty amazing because I mean we had such a build up to it, and for it to finally happen, the payoff was really well done. I think another good one is the streak versus the career. That last match with Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker.
Oh yeah.
Both times they fought at WrestleMania were really amazing, but the second one especially, there was just I think what makes the moment is that emotion in that moment. Like just a regular championship win is one thing, but it's all about the build up to that moment, whether it be the career ending or somebody winning after a long time. Now, we obviously know they're going for the same thing this year, but we'll go into that in a bit. How we feel about that. So yeah, let's see, what do we got? Oh, so Jake commented and said, one WrestleMania match that will always be remembered is the match between Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. And I think that's fair. That's one of those classic moments, the Intercontinental belt and the championship, you know. That's one of the classic moments, I think.
I have such a hard time remembering that far back.
yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? This was a long time ago, but that was the one. So that match had the Ultimate Warrior had the Intercontinental belt, and the Hulk had the championship belt. And in the end, the Warrior won and unified the two belts. He held both belts, which at the time was an amazing thing. It's been done a few times since then, but at that time, it was the first time it was ever done. And
pieces of it.
They had a pretty epic match, so I'll give them that. Let's see. Got another comment here. Let me just see. You're not doing very good moderating.
I'm trying to moderate. I'm seeing we're getting comments up here, but I don't want to like lose the chat thing.
So Zach's going back to the Hall of Fame question, and he's like, so he asked about Cyndi Lauper specifically. Do we think that Cyndi Lauper belongs in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, 100%. Cyndi Lauper does belong in the Hall of Fame.
But now you're contradicting what we were saying about the Hall of Fame.
No, I am not contradicting anything that we were saying because she was a big part of wrestling in the 80s.
That's true. I will say, out of all the celebrities,
she kind of brought in the pop side. Bringing in like the wrestlers, I can't remember some of them.
Lou Albano was in her music video for Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
A lot of wrestlers were in that and just kind of brought it in together to bring this scene into this whole pop, like colorful scene. It's just like kind of bringing the two worlds together.
So I will say, Zach, I think you brought up a valid point about Cyndi Lauper specifically because she did have a huge impact on wrestling at the time because of the fact the inclusion of it in her music video.
How to bring Derek back into the conversation. Let's talk about divas.
Yeah. And again, Zach saying she was one of the first famous people in the WWF at the time.
Yeah.
So
she wrestled too, didn't she?
So
did she?
No, she didn't. Okay. She was more of the management. Okay. And then I think the next year we had Mr. T as well. So
okay.
So yeah, so he brings up a lot of valid points about Cyndi Lauper specifically. Dude, does that mean I think Donald Trump should be in the Hall of Fame?
Did he do anything for the WWE?
He got beat up. That's a good enough reason.
He got a Stone Cold Stunner, so that's enjoyable for everybody.
Well, maybe we should bring him back and have Brock Lesnar put him through Suplex City.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe that's needed right now.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. I think you just pitched an awesome idea.
So I don't think it happens.
I would be sitting on my couch counting the amount of suplexes that Donald Trump gets.
And then taken away by Demon King with the Wyatt family.
There you go. Vince, if you're listening, this needs to happen.
Are you one of our 3 viewers right now? We want to take Donald Trump to Suplex City.
There you go.
Well, Brock wants to.
All right.
Let's write it in.
So now we've talked about all that. So let's go to the WrestleMania matches of the evening. So I'm a little disappointed to start off with the Battle Royal. The Battle Royal is typically one of my favorite matches of the whole thing. And this year, because of the amount of injuries, they've had to cut it back from 30 wrestlers to 20, which kind of irks me a little bit. And the 20 wrestlers they have in there are not exactly the best caliber, a lot of them, because they just don't have any other choice.
I don't have much comment on the Battle Royale.
Yeah.
It's, whatever. I think I have a feeling they're going to have one of probably Strowman or Rowan or somebody big win it.
Yeah. It kind of seems that they're going that route, yeah.
But I have a feeling that because I think they're really trying to push Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
So I could see him winning it. I don't really know. I don't know exactly who's in it. I really haven't looked at it.
They haven't announced everybody yet, but it seems like, from what I understand, it's going to be the Wyatts. The Social Outcasts are all in it. The Big Show's in it. Tyler Breeze is in it. And those, I think, are the only ones that have been announced. But I mean, you got to think that because of lack of wrestlers, I mean, really, you got to have probably Jack Swagger in there, Mark Henry. The ones that don't get a lot of TV time are probably going to be in there just because we just don't have any other wrestlers to put in at this point. Because you've got a 7-man ladder match going to happen as well.
I'll be very happy to see Tyler Breeze. Honestly,
I do like Tyler Breeze. I'm glad somebody else is saying that. Tyler Breeze is one of my favorites, and I think he's being horribly unutilized since they moved him up.
Very much so. I mean, they tried to give him kind of a good feud with Ziggler, but then after that, it was like, they really didn't.
There's been nothing done with him ever since.
It's sad because he's got a great gimmick, I think, and he's not a bad wrestler at all. He's very quick. He's very agile too, but yeah, they're kind of giving him the shaft. It sucks because you might as well just stay in NXT where he was doing fairly well.
He was doing well in NXT, and then they move him up, and he just goes stagnant. Like, they killed the whole Summer Rae angle super quick. They didn't even really give it a chance to take off, and I kind of liked the Summer Rae angle. So I was a little disappointed that they gave up on it as quickly as they did.
Yeah.
So hopefully, that all works out. So and Zach's commenting again, and he's saying, this is probably true, that you'll probably see some NXT guys in the Battle Royal tonight that haven't been announced.
I would be happy with that.
Me too. I think a lot of them, they've proven themselves. And I mean, especially as we were talking about how these takeovers, every single one of them. I don't know if you've watched the last few, but the last few takeovers have been amazing.
Yeah,
and this one's by far the best, but
this is the first one I've watched since last year, so yeah. I have a lot of catching up to do. Like I said, I just got the network. I used to online, but the website I use got shut down, so I haven't been able to watch it in a while.
No,
so I got to catch up on NXT big time.
Yes, you should, because NXT, man, I don't even know what to say about it. I hate to say it at this point. I almost look more forward to NXT than I do Raw or SmackDown.
There's a lot more story and a lot more. I don't know. Maybe it's just the rawness of it makes it more fun.
It does.
Raw and SmackDown just feel very silly a lot, and I think
Yes.
a lot of it. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a shitload of talent in Raw and SmackDown, but on the main roster, but just the writing.
And NXT, it's got a bunch of people who have something to prove, and that's when you're starting to see a whole lot more energy put into the performance itself. Like Bayley is one hell of a performer.
Mhm.
Like her whole entrance coming in with the whacking feeling on guys just running around, getting the people crying in the crowd for her as well. But like you see some of the matches in there, it's like these are people who are trying to move up and trying to make it to the big time. So these are people who have something to prove and trying to prove it themselves.
The good thing about NXT too is because it has a smaller roster, it gives people more room to shine. You know, it's not like with the main roster where you have like 50 guys on it. And I mean, you can even see with this whole Intercontinental Championship, they have 6 guys going for it that they've just been shoving into these tag matches because they probably don't really know what to do with them. So, I mean, with NXT,
that's so very true. But like, I don't know. So speaking of the Intercontinental match, so the 7-man Intercontinental match. So will Owens retain? That's the big question at this point.
I hope so. But I'm biased, of course.
we all are. Let's be honest here. He's our golden goose, you know.
Very much so.
Mhm.
But I would be okay with it losing it to Sammy or Ziggler, only because I think Ziggler deserves better. He's a great wrestler, and this could ignite a really good feud between Owens and Sammy, also. So I'd be okay with that.
Well, if they're moving Sammy up, I'd like to see him win it to give him a fair shot to build his character. Because, like we've talked about, there's some characters they're moving up from NXT that aren't being given an opportunity. They're moved up, and then they just go stagnant. So I don't want to see the same happen to Sami Zayn because he's up there as one of my faves as well.
I don't think it's going to happen with Sammy. The only reason why I don't think he's going to win is because he's so new to the main roster.
You're probably right. Yeah.
So, like Owens, in the show, he's like, "Oh, I don't think Sammy deserves it." But like, I'm kind of like the same way. I'm like, I don't really think he deserves it yet either. Like, give him like 2-3 months, and then I'll be all over it. But I mean, he deserves to be on the main roster and having great matches and all that shit. So,
or I think a nice twist would be just to go completely off the rocker and give it to somebody who we would never expect is going to win, like a Stardust.
A lot of people have been saying it's going to be Zack Ryder, like he's going to be the upset.
That would be. I have to say that would be pretty amazing if it happened because nobody. Well, I mean, I guess we say nobody, but we are saying that would be a good twist. So, but.
Seen Zack Ryder win a total of I think 1 match since he's got on the main roster. I know he beat Jericho the other night, but I didn't see that match. So
you'll see more of him now that you have the WWE network on main event. He seems to wrestle in the dark matches a lot, and they play those on main event.
I mean, I saw he was here at the house show that I went to a couple weeks ago, but he lost there too. So
yeah, he doesn't win very often, unfortunately. I don't know.
Oh, he fought against Luke Harper, and he lost against Luke Harper. That was my bathroom break match. Harper's going to win this one, so I'm just going to go use the bathroom.
All right. So there's that. So then there's the tag match. So we've got the New Day against the League of Nations.
I hope New Day wins, but they've had it for so long now that I could see the League of Nations winning it.
I could too.
I don't know how I feel about the League of Nations. I think they're all talented guys that are kind of, again, being wasted on tag matches. Mm-hmm. But nobody likes the League of Nations. That's the thing. And it's so popular right now, and they're like the biggest draw when you really think about it. Mm-hmm. I would love to see them keep it and just like have it for a really long time. But I mean, they've gone against like every single tag team now, so they got to lose it eventually. But I hope not, because it's just going to be like,
there's a new tag team has to form because nobody's left that they haven't beaten.
That's the thing about the New Day is they're the only interesting really tag team that there is. I mean, I like the Dudley Boys, but I mean they've been around for so long, and I don't really care for the Usos. I don't really care for the Lucha Dragons.
I like the Lucha Dragons.
I think they're talented, but I don't know.
I think the fact that the WWE has pushed Kalisto and not Sin Cara, that is done on purpose. That is for a reason.
You think so?
Because out of the two of them, Sin Cara is not as polished as Kalisto is at all.
Sin Cara is a botchamaniac.
Yes, yes, that's exact word I'd be looking for. He botches a lot of the moves. I mean, you wouldn't know this as much because you don't see it as much, but as somebody who watches wrestling a fair amount, you very clearly see he botches a lot of the moves, you know, and at big moments, at very pivotal moments in the match. It's not
much like that Dash and Dawson the other day where it was clearly a botched move.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to happen from time to time, but when it happens a lot,
he's like the king of botches right now. He botches more than like Total Divas botches.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, on the other hand, and then Kalisto is very, very, very polished.
Yeah.
So I can see that's why they're putting the push on him.
Yeah. Although I'm looking forward to seeing him and Ryback against each other tonight.
That'll be an interesting match. I feel like the push is on Ryback at this point, so I think that one's going to go.
I don't really care.
I'm more into Ryback's I don't know.
I'm not. That one for me is not a match I really don't care that much about, to be honest.
Like the least about in all of it. I don't know. I like Kalisto enough. I think he's got talent. But luchadors usually don't have a ton of personality, and that's like the biggest drawback for them, I feel. But he's good at what he does. I mean, he's a very, very talented wrestler. Ryback, I'm not bought on him at all. He's not very good at like anything, I feel.
Although Ryback in the black Speedo.
Okay. Zach, we got a new follower on Men of the Den Twitter right now. If you're not following us already at Men of the Den, asks, could we see Nakamura win a belt?
Oh, yeah. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's just it's a timing thing, right? It's going to happen.
Nakamura's debut was so good, and I mean, not only how good he was in the match, but how he shook Sami Zayn's hand and all that stuff. I mean, he's going to have a huge pop and a huge following in NXT. It's only going to be a matter of time before he's gunning for the belt, let alone winning it.
Exactly. Balor's getting up there with holding on to that belt for a while, so you got to think Balor is going to drop that belt soon. So right now, it's just a matter of who he's going to drop it to. I mean, for me, I think, and I know, watching the behind-the-scenes stuff, there's a big push on Apollo Crews. And I think that the belt might go off to Apollo Crews first, and then maybe go on to somebody else. I
can guarantee. Camera go off.
Yeah,
camera went off.
Yeah, we lost you.
Okay.
Sorry.
You'll be back.
Am I back now?
We got the audio. You have a video issue here.
Okay, I got it. Sorry.
You got it?
There we go. All
right. Technical difficulties, everybody.
There you go. All right. So yeah, I think it's fair.
Yeah, I think by the end of the year he will. Probably sometime during fall or winter he'll win a belt.
Okay. So, all right. So we talked about the U.S. title, the Intercontinental title. Oh, okay. So let's talk about the two Divas matches. So the three-way: Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha. I'm actually really looking forward to this match.
I am too.
Those
Yeah, it's funny how much
three are powerhouses.
has changed and how much I actually care about it.
Mm.
I'd like to give it to. Yeah, I would like to give it to Becky, but she's totally the Raven in this competition. She's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. So I think it's going to be Sasha in this one, though.
I think it will be too.
Yeah.
I think I agree. I think we're all on the same page. I think it seems like the push is on Sasha at this point. But going back
I like
to
Becky.
yeah.
She'll win it eventually. I really like the way the Divas is going right now because this is the first time I actually cared about a Divas match I think ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you go back to the Attitude Era, we used to get bra and panties matches, Jello matches. Like, you can't take women's matches seriously when you're having bra and panties matches. Those matches were meant, as Nikki Bella puts it, they were made for bathroom breaks. You know, that's when people got up, made a snack, went to the bathroom. Oh, the women's match is over. Now I can come back and watch again. You know, and it's not like that anymore. And in a lot of ways, I find the women's matches a lot of times now are more entertaining than the men's matches.
They put a lot of work into it, definitely. I mean, Sasha and Becky and Charlotte are all very talented wrestlers, and their characters are really well established, or they know what
Yeah,
they're doing. Um, and like Charlotte now has become like such a good heel that I'm kind of like looking forward to her losing.
yes. Charlotte was one of my favorites. I was glad when she won the belt, but now I'm like, now that she's gone heel, she kind of makes me want to see one of the other ones get it. And I suspect, and here's my prediction: I suspect that Bayley will also make an appearance during that match in some way.
That would be wonderful.
Because you got to going back to the Four Horsemen and the Four Horsewomen, she's the only one not involved in the match right now.
I don't think she will at WrestleMania, but I think it's going to be soon.
Oh yeah,
that she's going to be involved in it.
I think they dropped her belt for a reason.
I do too. That's what I was saying. That's what I was telling Josh earlier when we were watching. That Bayley really deserves a push up, and she would be great on the main roster. Because I mean, there's only like 5 divas or like 6 divas that are really interesting on the main roster. And the rest I really don't give a shit about. So having Bayley on there and having like put those 6 like together, like Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Bayley, Paige, and Natalia, I think that would be great. Yeah. And just have them all kind of fight it out.
With Bree's pending retirement, I think they need the additional female talent up there.
Bree's probably leaving. Nikki's going to be out for God knows how much longer.
I was reading today, they're saying she's hoping to be back within 3.5 months.
Yeah.
So that's still quite a ways out.
And the Total Divas crap, I mean, who cares? You don't want to put those women in NXT and let them have it out there. Push the actual stronger talent on there.
That match, I hate to say it, the whole purpose of the 10-woman tag team match, is to push Eva Marie. That's all it is. WWE for some reason has had a hard-on for Eva Marie, and I don't necessarily get it. Although, I can't say that completely because I am an Eva Marie fan. But
it's because she's a vixen.
She's got something about her. But that being said, I mean, WWE clearly has had a hard-on for her for a long time, and they felt that this was the opportunity to push her.
I feel very bad for Paige and Natalia because it's 10 women match, and it's like they both deserve so much better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Natalia is one of my favorite wrestlers, hands down.
Fantastic.
When we went to the house show, she wrestled with Charlotte, and she was the only wrestler that came up to the fans and before the match and came and signed autographs and everything like that.
Yes.
And then even after, she took pictures with people. She was just fantastic. And it's like, oh man, it's so sad that she's being put in this little thing that, you know, they don't just like let those two go and make it a 4-on-4.
I mean, I understand she's dealing with a lot in her personal life right now, with Tyson Kidd being injured the way he is and possibly not going to be coming back. But at some point, they've got to let that go, and they've got to give her some kind of push, because she's one of their most underutilized talents right now.
And Paige is like their best heel female wrestler, and they're just to this little match. It's like, I mean, she was so big like 6 months ago, and then she got injured or whatever, and now she's back. I don't know what to do with her. It's like,
I don't really understand the logic behind what they're doing with the veterans, so to speak. You know, I get they're trying to push the new talent, but
I mean, don't get me wrong, the 3 women that are in the 3 match deserve it.
yes.
It's like those two, I mean, they really should be feuding with each other or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think there needs to be a bigger push on Natalia and Paige specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. So where are we at? So we got that. Oh, okay. So now let's get down to business. So what do you think about Roman Reigns and Triple H?
I think it'll be a good match. I really do.
Yeah.
I like Reigns. I don't love him, but I do like him. I think he deserves a little bit better than what he's getting. He's a good wrestler. He's got a great look. It's just they don't know how to write him, and I think that's the biggest issue. Like they're trying to turn him into like Cena, and he's just not Cena.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I see him getting more of the Daniel Bryan treatment.
Yeah.
You know, which right now is not the way to go with Daniel Bryan just retiring. You can't just do that. Have the same basic storyline happen all over again.
It's like they're trying to do a little bit of both. Like they're trying to make him invincible like Cena, but try and make him look like an underdog like Bryan.
Right.
But he's just a of him. And it's not that I don't think he could be the top guy. Like I think he could, but if you make him to like this strong, silent badass, as opposed to like when he was in the Shield, you're gonna do so much better with him. I think he's a really talented wrestler, but he's getting such crap treatment with the writing.
Yeah.
And I mean, they tried everything to get him over, and it's just not working.
Absolutely, it's just not working. I don't. Why do you think it is that the fans aren't taking to him?
I don't know. I think it's because he's been so shoved in our face over like a couple months. Like it's just you look at like Ambrose is so much more loved than Reigns, and even though Ambrose has gotten a huge push, it's obvious that fans are pushing more towards having somebody like that be the top guy than somebody like Reigns.
What got me is the WWE knows that Reigns is not the fans' most loved person right now. You know, they're trying to push the fans to cheer for Reigns, and they're cheering for Triple H. And that's what's going to happen during this match tonight. The person that they want to win the match, that's probably going to win the match, is not the one that's going to get cheered. It's going to be a weird dynamic. And they had their out. I thought for sure, okay, you've got your out. At Roadblock, they had their out. They could have put the belt on Dean Ambrose that night and changed up the match. And I thought, and part of me thought they might do it just for that reason, but nope. So now they're in this box where they either have to give it to Reigns, who the fans don't want to win it, or they have to keep it on Triple H, who the fans don't really want to retain the belt either. There's no other option.
I mean, you can't do cash in like last year either. So it's really kind of up in the air. But I don't know. I mean, I think they should just give it to Reigns and just have him quiet down for a while and see how. I mean, there's always that fan towards the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't matter who he is. I mean, Cena, pretty much anybody really. It's at least Stone Cold. So, like Stone Cold's the last top guy I can remember that people were actually really, really into.
Right.
But even The Rock, when he was really popular,
I think you're right. I mean, I don't know. Here's what I suspect will happen now, because the latest figures show that Seth Rollins is going to come back probably, they're saying July at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense. They'll give the belt tonight to Reigns, and then he'll retain it right up until Rollins comes back, and then set up a championship match between Rollins and Reigns. Seems to be the way it's going, but who knows? I mean, from what I hear, Bray Wyatt's going to factor into things post WrestleMania, which I'm kind of excited to see.
I would love for this to be a Reigns heel turn somehow, and
yes,
have him go against Ambrose for the belt, like a face Ambrose. I think it would actually work really well for both of them, because you have Reigns going against like the most popular guy. As a heel, I think he could really build up that heat and momentum, and it actually would work out pretty good for him. So that's what I would like to see.
I think you're right. I think a heel turn for Reigns would be perfect at this point. Something has to give with this character. He's not getting on with the fans. They need to make a change.
It's happened. I mean, he hasn't been talking in promos as much. He's been attacking Triple H like out of the blue and stuff like that. Like he looks more like the heel in this whole thing than Triple H does. So I don't know.
I mean, and compounding the fact that he had that nose surgery he had to have, like took him out of action for a whole month before WrestleMania, which is crazy. I'm like, why would you be pushing somebody who's going to be going in for surgery and not being able to cut any promos for a month before WrestleMania? Like, they had to know that was coming. They knew that surgery was going to be.
I don't know. They don't know what they're doing.
I don't know. That whole decision with him doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. I don't know. Hopefully they've got something in the cards that we're not expecting. That's my hope with that one.
I think they did want. I mean, they took the time to build up this Lesnar Ambrose feud, which has been pretty good so far. So I guess it wasn't a terrible thing. And I guess the whole thing with bringing Sami Zayn in during that month too against Owens and building up AJ Styles more and stuff like that was pretty good. So it kind of worked out. Story up.
I like how they're building Ambrose up as the hardcore guy, like by passing the torch from Mick Foley and Terry Funked him. I liked how they did that. That was pretty cool. They've obviously got a plan for Dean Ambrose, what direction they're gonna point him on. Take him more in the roughneck hardcore lane, which is where I think he needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, you even watch like I was talking about the other day on the webpage for how Royal Rumble was, and that match between him and Owens, and how like hardcore it really was. And this match against, I mean, he's built for these kind of matches. His character, the way he speed and everything like that works out. And I think this match against Lesnar is going to be really awesome. I think it's going to be the match of the night.
I think so too. Yeah. That's my prediction as well. Between that and the ladder match, I think those are going to be the two best matches.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot going for him for this. So I mean, it was like the perfect idea to make it this kind of match, especially against Lesnar. And I think he could beat Lesnar. I really do.
I think it's possible entirely.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
I did enjoy that moment on the last SmackDown. So Dean Ambrose came out just with a wagon, took all the weapons from underneath the ring, and just went back.
Yeah.
While Brock Lesnar was up there.
That was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
He's like the only guy I can think of that's just not afraid of Lesnar at all. And having him win that match would be really cool and great for his character. And if they really do want to build him into being closer to the top, something like that would be really huge for him. So,
I think you're right. So, so we got that match. So that just leaves Shane and the Undertaker. This is the match I think is the only one that has the biggest question mark of the night.
Yeah. Part of me wants to believe that Vince is getting ready to retire. That's why this whole thing's happening. But I don't know. I think Undertaker will probably win. Because I don't think they would just. But I don't know. Because Undertaker probably wants to get close to retiring too. So
it's so tough to say. I mean, I agree. It seems to me like it's that time for the Undertaker to retire. So maybe that's where they're going with it. Yeah. But on the flip side, that's going to eliminate the whole authority. That's going to, possibly open up the brand split again. Which, you know what? I think a brand split might not be a terrible idea at this point.
The thing is, though, they have to realize at this point that things just aren't really working out that well. I mean, you can see like it dropping in the ratings, and their top guys not going over. People aren't happy with people are bored with the authority. People are bored with Vince. I mean, there's got to be a change soon of some kind if they want to keep their product going. I would hope. I like to think that they're aware of that. I don't know if they are, but I like to think that they are. I mean, how can you not see the signs? I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. I think if there's going to be a match that's going to have that twist, because I think it's safe to say they can't be just flat out matches all night. There's got to be a twist or two to make this interesting, because the matches themselves on paper it isn't the best card ever. I mean, so they've got to have some surprises in there.
I mean, the last two WrestleManias had a lot of twists. I mean, 30 had Brock beating Undertaker, 31 had Rollins coming out and cashing in and beating Roman and Brock. So, I mean, one of these matches has got to have a twist of some kind. So,
I'm betting they wish they had the Money in the Bank back on Sheamus again right now.
That would go over so poorly at WrestleMania. And that was, if I'm being honest, that was the stupidest thing I think they ever did. Was having Sheamus cash that in that night, because when Roman first won the belt, he was still over. Like, he actually got cheered and everything like that. Like, you watched that night.
People were happy about him winning it. That's right.
But then they had that whole thing. That whole feud was just a mess, and it just made things worse for Roman. And having him do more promos that he was just not good at, and I think it made things way, way worse in the end for him. So
I think we're in agreement. So I do think if there's going to be a big twist tonight, it's going to be during that match. And I mean, preferably Definitely. In my mind, the things that stick out in my mind that could happen are Stone Cold possibly coming out and screwing over Vince for one last time.
If Stone Cold could still wrestle, I would agree. I don't think he can.
Yeah, well, he doesn't need to wrestle. He could do a run in and somehow make Undertaker lose without actually wrestling. We still don't know what role The Rock's going to play in the pay-per-view yet. We know he's going to be at WrestleMania. We don't know what he's doing. Presumably, I mean, it's going to be some kind of role like he did last year with the whole Ronda Rousey thing, and I could see that happening again.
I mean, even the Wyatts could play a factor in that Undertaker match, because they've been fucking with the Undertaker for about a year now.
Yeah, that is very true. The Wyatts have been messing with him, and that storyline has never really come to a head.
I mean, the Wyatts deserve better than just be shoved into a Royal Rumble match, so I'm hoping maybe they'll do something with them. I mean, they might even interfere with the Roman match because they don't like Roman. I mean,
the rumors I hear, and I read a lot of the rumor stuff. The rumors I hear is that after WrestleMania, Bray Wyatt is getting, and the Wyatts are getting a big push after WrestleMania. So could that first step be some kind of interference in another match tonight? Could absolutely be.
That would be great if they were able to do something. Yeah.
Because I mean, let's look at who they feuded with. I mean, they feuded with Reigns, and they still use the term. And just recently, they've used the term "anyone but Roman." Who knows? That could be the start of once Roman wins the belt. Maybe that'll be the push there. That'll be a match between Bray and Roman for the belt. The Lesnar aspect. I mean, the Wyatts have been feuding with Lesnar for 3 months now, and that never hasn't since Royal Rumble. But that's never really come to a head. There's been the odd battle here and there, but there hasn't been any definitive end to that feud yet. So maybe there's something going to happen there. So I think you're right. I think the Wyatts are going to play some kind of part in this pay-per-view tonight. What it's going to be, I don't know, because there's a lot of different wrestlers they've feuded with over the last year that, in my mind, they haven't ended the feuds with. So there's still a lot of open-ended stuff there.
They just feud with everybody. It's really funny. They remind me of like Owens if he was like a family. If there was like feud with everyone. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they do something more than just be in the Royal Rumble because that would be lame. But I don't know because Luke Harper's injured now too, so I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot he was injured as well. Ugh.
But
they're just everybody's getting hurt. It's crazy the amount of injuries that are going on right now. Like, it's just a perfect storm, really. But if I was an NXT guy right now, this would be the opportunity I would use to get myself up there.
Yeah, it's been a really bad year with injuries. It's crazy. I mean, you got so many top guys that are out, like Rollins and Cena, and I mean Bryan's gone now, so this whole WrestleMania is a tough sell when it really comes out.
One person we didn't talk about, Randy Orton. The rumor is that Randy Orton might be off the injured list right now. So he's a wild card for tonight.
Last I read, he was getting close. They think he's going to be back before. I think they said after WrestleMania, but before like SummerSlam, he's going to be back.
So somewhere in the middle. Okay,
and I know Cesaro.
The equation.
Cesaro is wrestling again too, so he's pretty much back. Like he's been wrestling at house shows. So some of them are coming back.
So yeah, I mean it's really tough to say which way the Undertaker and Shane's gonna go away. That's the one match I'm unsure of. I mean the other ones I have a pretty good prediction of what's gonna happen, but that one I'm not. It could really go either way. I mean there could be arguments made for both sides of the fence, so it's really tough to say which way that one's gonna go. That one's the one I'm looking forward to.
What about AJ and Jericho?
Oh yes, I forgot about that one.
Y2J.
Here's the question. Do we really care about AJ and Jericho at this point?
I like both of them.
Me too.
I'm sick of seeing them wrestle each other.
Absolutely. That's my feeling.
I don't know. I really want to. Maybe it's my Owens bias, but I really want to see AJ feud with Owens. They've been wrestling each other, and Owens has got 2 wins over him now. So I'd really like to see them get into a feud. Because the Jericho feud's not bad, but it's just the same shit over and over again. I do like Jericho being a heel, though, like nobody likes me anymore. It's pretty funny. When I went to the house show, Jericho was at the house show, and he was yelling at the fans for cheering for AJ Styles, and the whole time he was doing it, everyone was just yelling, AJ Styles, AJ
So, speaking of Jericho, one thing I'll say about Jericho is he's probably one of the most professional people in WWE right now. He going back to that Raw episode where Neville broke his ankle. Did you see that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He played that off so masterfully that you didn't even know what was going on.
Well,
Till after the fact.
I was thinking too when I was watching the Royal Rumble the other night, he was in it for so long, and I was wondering to myself, maybe he was in it for so long because they needed like a veteran in there. There were so many in the Rumble this year. There's probably like, I don't know, maybe directing a little bit while he was in there. But yeah, I mean Jericho, for being around as long as he has been, he's still really great.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic wrestler. And you don't usually see that when guys get to his age because they're usually too injured or they look really out of shape. But he's like timeless. It's really weird. I never would have thought I would still see Chris Jericho wrestling at this stage in his career.
When you see some of the wrestlers that have gone wayside, and you look at the wrestlers that are still there, like I would never guess Jericho and like Goldust would still be wrestling to this day.
Yeah,
like those are not right. If I was going back and looking at the wrestlers from the old days, like the ones that were in shape and seemed like the best physicality, those would not be the people that I would expect that would still be around. I mean, Undertaker, you could kind of see that he was going to have a long career as long as he stayed off the injured list, which he's done really well. I mean, over his career, he hasn't had those big injuries like some of the wrestlers have had.
But you only wrestle 3 times a year.
Well, now, yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think he would have retired a long time ago had the WWE been able to have another major name. They just haven't been able to build anyone to the level that the Undertaker's been at for so long. And I think that's the reason he's still wrestling. So I would not be surprised if he gets retired tonight.
Me either. I mean, the thing is, though, he might not be retired. It's just the whole bet is that he won't do manias anymore. But I don't know. I mean, his time is coming. He doesn't. I mean, he still wrestles good, but he looks terrible. So I don't know how good he feels.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, physically, he looks like he's worn out. I think you're right. I think it's probably a good time for him to back down, and him, like, I think it's safe to say him and the Big Show, their days are numbered.
The Big Show definitely is getting up there, and I mean, everybody wants the Big Show to retire. That's sort of the thing too. He just
not the same as he, right?
I give him credit for having the balls to stay around as long as he has. Everybody wants him to retire. Yeah.
So I definitely could see the Undertaker retiring tonight, but we'll see. I mean, I could see both sides of the coin.
But they might just be like, "Yeah, we're just gonna stick to our usual shit." It feels so weird though that they would bring in Shane. All of a sudden, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Are we almost out of time, Derek?
Oh yeah, we have about 20 minutes left.
All right, cool, no problem. All right, so we talked about the present. So what do you want to see? Who do you think on the roster right now are we going to see in the next WrestleMania? Who's going to be a big factor in the next WrestleMania?
Well, I want to say Kevin Owens.
I want to say Kevin Owens.
You know what? I think he is probably, out of everybody on the roster right now, he is the safest bet. I almost guarantee you he's going into next WrestleMania either as champion or he's coming in as the challenger.
Yeah. I think realistically, though, I mean, it's not unrealistic. I think he'll still be huge at the next.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think AJ Styles has a huge chance of being the next big thing. People just love him. I mean, they really do, and it's understandable. He's worked this hard, I mean, it took him so long to get to WWE.
And then look where he's gotten in it. He's only been in the WWE for a year and a half, and he's held the NXT belt and the Intercontinental belt twice.
All right.
Yeah.
Zach, we're coming back to Zach here. Zach just tweeted to us again. Hey, Men of the Den, Y2J is timeless because you could never kill the metal.
Love it. Love it,
Zach. Love it.
That's pretty good. That's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It'll be sad the day Y2J goes away.
Remember Chris Jericho's band, Fozzy?
Mm-hmm. I want to forget Fozzy.
I think he just came out with an album like 2 years ago. I want to say.
Well, yeah, it hasn't been that long. I think you're right. I think a couple of years ago, maybe.
Yeah, Jericho's fucking great. You gotta give the guy credit. He does it all. Wrestling, music, acting.
Exactly. No, I definitely think we'll see Owens in some facet next WrestleMania. I hope it's in a championship because I really want to see him as champion. I think he's earned it.
All right, Zach. Okay, we have another comment here from Zach. Next WrestleMania, he wants to see Nakamura, Zayn, Swan, Balor and the Gang. # Man of the Den.
Ooh, so that brings up a good point.
Yeah.
Finn Balor and his faction. Do we think that's going to happen?
I think it will. I don't think it's going to happen next year.
Have them destroy the League of Nations.
Well,
it would be great. I don't think it'll happen next year, but I give it like 2 years to.
You think it'll be that long?
Because, like I said, Balor doesn't really seem like he wants to leave NXT. That's the whole thing. Like Red, he seems super comfortable being there, and
it's kind of hard for them to do it because AJ's in the main roster, he's in NXT, so either he's got to move up or AJ's got to go back, and there's no point putting AJ back because the fans clearly want AJ to do well at this point.
Yeah.
There's clearly going to be a championship in his future, whether it's going to be the Intercontinental or the US, still up in the air, but I think it's safe to say AJ's got a belt in his near future.
Near future.
And Nakamura, we'll definitely see him in WrestleMania, like sometime probably by the end of the decade.
Yeah, Nakamura is definitely going to be up there.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to stay in NXT for too long because I think he's more, I want to say he's more ambitious. Like I can tell he wants to get up there. So.
Mm-hmm. Jake Samson John, would you love to see Finn and Owen tag up at the next WrestleMania? Two great wrestlers showing the world a whole can of whoop ass.
Oh God,
they were such huge rivals when they were in it.
Yeah, I don't see them being a good tag team, but
I really love to see a Sammy and Owens tag team.
Yes,
I think that would be great. Mostly because I don't know, I can see them because they can't just feud forever. Like, they'll probably I want them to get together just to see Owens betray him again. It's just,
and when you say tag team, do you mean in the bedroom? No, I mean I'm sorry.
Larry's fictions.
That's right. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have Larry here to read his erotic fiction about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
When he first saw Sami Zayn, I'm like, that's Sami Zayn. He's Kevin Owens' best friend / worst enemy / secret lover.
I agree.
All right, so back to Zach. We're going to go back to Balor and the Gang. Could that possibly happen at Battle Royale tonight?
No.
You don't think?
Too soon.
Too soon?
Too soon.
Oh.
I don't think it'll happen tonight. I would not be surprised if it happens before SummerSlam, though.
It could go either way. I don't think it will either, but I wouldn't be shocked if it did.
That's true. It could really go either way. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know how things are going to work with Balor. I think he will be on the main roster probably within the year. But I don't know. Because now with Zayn gone, and Zayn was like the NXT pretty much poster child. They're going to need a new one. So it's probably going to be Finn.
I don't know. I don't know why I've never been a big Finn Balor fan. He just doesn't do it for me. I don't know.
I like him. I think he's a really impressive wrestler. I like his gimmick. I guess it's not for everyone, but I don't know. I like him a lot. He's intense. That's why I like about him.
I think he still needs a little bit of work on his character, I think.
Yeah, it's a niche character, and those are great for NXT. I don't know how great they would be for the main roster, though.
I mean, maybe the Bullet Gang is what he needs. Maybe that's the extra oomph he needs. Because right now, I mean, the main roster is missing that big faction. I mean, the League of Nations isn't doing it. We stumbled upon this earlier. The League of Nations, the 4 wrestlers that are part of the League of Nations on their own are all fantastic. But as a group, they just, I don't know, it doesn't fit.
I really think this is hurting their careers a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay. Coming back to the whole Balor and the gang. Zach, don't forget, Balor is already over one of them and was already WWE, and Carl is a machine.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, the fact that Carl has been in the WWE in the past helps that. I have also heard rumors that I read up on this a lot, that Ken Anderson has been spotted at the Performance Center a lot over the last few weeks. So there is some information surrounding the fact that could be happening. But I guess it's a wait and see if it's gonna happen tonight or if it's gonna happen post WrestleMania. I don't know.
There's a lot of free agents out there right now, and the way NXT is going, they're going to be signing a lot of guys. It really has taken on a life of its own. It's surprising because I remember when it first got started. I mean, I didn't really start watching it right away, but I knew when it was happening. I was like, it's not really going to amount to much. And now it's huge, and everybody loves it. Everybody loves it more than the main roster. It's winning awards, and it's just crazy how big it's really become. So I don't know.
They're selling out the stadiums that they're going to, which is amazing.
Yeah. You even watched the takeover that was on Friday, just how many people were in that stadium and how loud it was, how into it the crowd was. I mean, yeah, you still sell a lot of seats at regular Raws and SmackDowns, but the crowds just aren't really that into it like they are with NXT.
No.
Yeah, because
it's something about the smaller crowd, I think, that gets them more into it.
It feels more, I guess, indie and less like it's a corporation.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is going to show my age. When I was a kid here in Canada, we had a wrestling promotion called Grand Prix Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And NXT for me feels very much like that local Grand Prix Wrestling feeling, which I love.
It reminds me of Honor too. Just that's crowd and the more intense storylines and stuff like that. The more stronger characters that you really get. I mean, that's been the thing with WWE now since the Attitude Era ended. They put this PG thing, and it's made things feel very soft and uninteresting.
Absolutely. That's one of I think my biggest complaint right now. I agree that the Attitude Era took things a little too far. Probably ended a lot of awesome wrestlers' careers way too early. Yeah. Edge is the one that sticks out in my head right off the top. I think if it wasn't for the Attitude Era, Edge would still be around. A lot of his injuries came from some of their craziness that they did.
Edge was huge when I was in high school. He actually, when I started watching again towards the end of high school, is because some girlfriends I was hanging out with at the time were really into wrestling, and they both pretty much just wanted to drop their panties for Edge, and they got me into that again. I liked him like right from the start, but it was like starting to be towards the end of his career, so I really didn't get to watch. I always catch like the best wrestlers like right at the end of their careers.
I mean, you go back and you watch those ladder matches, with Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys. Those are some of the that's some of the craziest shit to this day that you're ever going to see. And you're never going to see anything like that again because they've watered everything down so much, right? Like, they've gone the other way with it.
You still see them, but they're so rare, and they're usually only 4 pay-per-views. Like, if you watch a regular Raw, you're not going to see a ladder match, you know?
No.
You're like,
and even when you see the ladder matches and stuff now, and the Hell in a Cell matches, you don't see the Undertaker crawling on the top of the Hell in a Cell, and none of that stuff doesn't happen anymore. Which I miss it to a point. Like I know that they can't just do the crazy stuff that they used to do, but they've watered it down too much. I think they gotta take up the level a little bit.
and that's why I was saying I love that match between Ambrose and Owens so much, because it was so brutal, and it was so they put their bodies through so much. I mean, Owens went through 3 fucking tables in that match.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, I even pop into TNA every now and then just to see what. Like, I don't watch it actively, but I pop into TNA to see what they're doing, and they're still kind of doing the Attitude Era stuff. And I have to say, I mean, that's one thing that TNA's got over on the WWE. The matches are a little more interesting because they still are putting people like Jeff Hardy's still going through 3 tables, you know?
Yeah. Go away.
Any more comments?
No, we just got some very kind words from Zach.
Nice.
All right, so this Men of the Den stream has been more excited for Mania than I've ever been in years.
Yay!
My pants are fitting a bit tighter. I think that's all I'm thinking about Senpei.
I think that's fair. I think we can all agree on that.
Stay away from my man.
Did you order the cardboard cutout that you put on your Facebook the other day?
Funny, and I don't know where I would put it. It's 30
the comment that I laughed at when you posted that was that somebody said you needed a handsaw and a fleshlight and you were good to go. I died when I saw that.
I was like, no, I would be strapping something onto that.
Yes. One of them with a suction cup, right?
I don't think topping for Kevin Owens is an option. It's bottom.
I told you I was gonna get it, and he's just like, we have no fucking room for it. There's no way you're getting.
Wow! Oh my! And if there's any straight people watching right now, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is just how it is. When we get excited, we get like this. So, Dash and Dawson again. Hi.
He doesn't appreciate my love for him, although he's in love with Dean Ambrose and Big E. So.
Well.
Yes, Big. You know what, Big E.
Yep, God.
Mm-hmm. We were watching it earlier, and I said something about Big E.
Total Divas.
Oh yeah,
hell yeah! Had said something.
Yeah, it said something about yeah.
Apparently, there's a reason. Their word "big" is there.
Mm-hmm.
All on that man. Nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to admit we actually watched Total Divas, but I watched Total Divas.
I've never seen an episode of it. I have no desire.
Oh man, those girls, you get a whole new respect for them behind the scenes. I'll tell you.
Paige, I should shout out to Paige a few episodes ago. She actually went to a guy's house and helped him come out of the closet to his parents.
Yes.
Her and Alicia Fox.
There was a new episode that aired 2 weeks ago, and a fan actually wrote her and said he hadn't come out to his family yet, and he wanted help doing it. She flew to his area and went to his house while he was coming out to support the guy. Her and Alicia Fox.
So bravo. That's amazing.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Was it Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn?
No.
Oh, I wish.
Coming out to the big boss, man, and then a whole other fan fiction.
And I'll tell you,
out of this.
all this hate for Eva Marie that you see on NXT, it stems from Total Divas, because she really got herself a bad reputation because of Total Divas.
That's the whole thing with like the Total Divas thing. Like it feels like such tie-in trash that I just don't want.
I don't think they should have incorporated it as part of WrestleMania. Yeah. They could have done something on a smaller scale, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was right for WrestleMania. Even being a fan of the show, I don't think it was right for WrestleMania. But that being said, if you watch Total Divas, you pretty much know what's going to happen, and that's Eva Marie is going to turn on all the other girls. It's very apparent because on the show, the big thing is she lied to them about the training that she was going to be getting, and then they all turned on her. Like they all hated her, every single one of them.
It was kind of funny. She came out on Raw, like I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and like she got like her response wasn't even boos. It was just nothing. It was just nobody had anything to say about it.
And I said it earlier, the WWE's got a hard on for her to try to push her, and I just don't see it working because she's pretty to look at, but that's realistically, I will give her credit. She has put a lot of hard work into try to get to a level where she can compete with the other girls. So I will give her that, but I don't know. I think the damage has already been done. I think I don't think I think they can't put her over at this point, which is why
they should do, if they really want to get Roman Reigns over, is put him against her and then just see how that goes. I
know you haven't been watching NXT a lot lately, but did you see Eva Marie and Nia Jax together?
Mm.
So there's a beast of a female wrestler. I don't know if you've seen her, called Nia Jax.
Yeah, I've seen her.
I love her.
Really
she's another one of my favorite NXT female wrestlers right now. And they teamed her and Eva Marie up, which I think was an awesome combination. And I hope if they're going to pull that angle tonight, I hope they give Nia Jax the opportunity to come run in and help. I hope that's where they go with it. I don't hope they don't just focus on Eva Marie, that they give Nia Jax the chance as well to shine, because that's the only way it's going to be an interesting twist. Because anybody who knows anything about Total Divas knows Eva Marie's definitely going to turn on all those girls tonight.
I hope Eva Marie eats the pin, and that's all she wrote.
I'd love to think it's going to go that way, but I don't think it will. We got, 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
Oh, awesome. We did good. We got everything in. All right. So do we have any more comments?
Did you get everything in?
Not really.
All right, well.
Kevin is hot, and that's it. So
all right, so I think we can end it. So that is it for our live show, guys. So WrestleMania starts in what? So the pre-show starts in approximately 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
The pre-show starts in 2.5 hours. Then the pre-show, and then WrestleMania. So if you really want to watch 6 hours of WrestleMania, get ready and put it to.
And Zach has one more comment before we go.
Oh,
I'm crying over here. Let's just have Roman Reigns destroy Eva, or Roman destroy Eva.
That's the only way. I think that would help Roman Reigns right there. Let's get Roman Reigns to attack Eva. Eva Marie, done.
You think they should fake date?
Yes. Love it.
She cheats on him with Tyler Breeze or something.
Oh my, that's amazing. I love it. Love it. Oh, that's the best. I think that's the best comment of the whole thing, Zach.
All right, so let's wrap this up.
All right, so everyone, that's it for the live show. So next week on the Den will be Craft Week. So tune in next week to see all of the arts and crafts. And so this is us signing off. Say goodbye, Ben.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Stop broadcast.
Stop broadcast.